I'll never forget the day my German coworker pulled me aside and whispered three words that shattered my entire worldview. You're very American. She said it quietly, like she was warning me about something stuck in my teeth, like she was doing me a favor. I smiled, big, wide, proud, because in America, that's a compliment, right? That means confident, bold, patriotic, all the good stuff. But she didn't smile back. Her face stayed completely serious, almost worried, like I just told her I didn't know how to swim and we were about to get on a boat. That's when it hit me. In Berlin, where I'd been living for 3 months, calling someone very American wasn't praise. It was a diagnosis. It was her polite way of saying I was too loud in meetings, too friendly with strangers, too quick to assume my way was the right way, too everything. It was a performance review and I was failing. I've lived abroad for 3 years now. Germany, France, now bouncing around Europe for work. And in that time, I've watched Americans visit the cities I now call home. I've seen them arrive with their rolling suitcases covered in flag stickers and their voices that carry across cobblestone squares. I've watched them walk into 500-year-old buildings and immediately start comparing everything to back home. Loud, proud, and utterly convinced that the rest of the world is just doing America wrong. Like Europe is the beta version and they're here to offer feedback. And here's what makes me cringe every single time. They have absolutely no idea it's happening. Zero awareness. They think they're being friendly. They think they're being helpful. They think everyone around them is fascinated by their opinions about healthcare and portion sizes. Today, I'm going to show you what happens when American confidence crashes headfirst into European reality. And trust me, it doesn't go the way you think it will. Welcome to the social glitch. Let's talk about why "you're very American" is actually an insult abroad.
Last month, I'm sitting in a cafe in Paris, trying to enjoy my coffee and read in peace. This American couple sits down next to me. I know they're American before they even speak. College sweatshirts, white knickers, the way they pull their chairs loudly without looking around first. The woman immediately starts talking at full volume about how small the coffee cups are, how weird it is they don't just give you a big mug, how back home she gets a large and it lasts her whole morning. Her husband, equally loud, says Americans just do coffee better. We invented Starbucks after all. The French people around us are trying so hard to ignore them. Everyone's staring intently at their phones or newspapers, pretending they can't hear anything. But these two just keep going. They have no idea that in Paris, in a small cafe at 9 a.m., you're supposed to be quiet. You sip your tiny espresso and read your paper and exist peacefully alongside other humans. You're not supposed to broadcast your thoughts about cup sizes to the entire room. And then I realized something that made my stomach drop. 6 months ago, that was me. I was that person, making comparisons, talking too loud, wondering why everyone seemed so unfriendly when I was just being myself. My German coworker wasn't being mean when she called me very American. She was throwing me a life preserver. She was trying to tell me I was drowning and didn't even know the water was there.
2 weeks later, I'm in a quiet bistro in Lyon, France. White tablecloths, candles, waiters who move like they're dancing. Classical music plays so quietly you almost can't hear it. The door opens and an American couple walks in. Within 30 seconds, 30 actual seconds, the woman raises her hand high and waves it back and forth. Hi? Yeah? Excuse me? Her voice cuts through the restaurant like a knife. Every single person stops talking and looks over. Before the waiter can even greet them, she's already talking. Okay, so I'm looking at this dish right here, but can I get it without the sauce? And can you add chicken to it? Also, is the chicken organic? Because I only eat organic. And can you put the chicken on the side, not mixed in? The waiter just stares at her, his face completely blank. She smiles bigger, thinking he didn't understand, talking slower and louder now. Also, do you guys have ranch dressing? I watched the waiter's eye twitch. This is France. They invented sauces here. Hundreds of French sauces with fancy names. Chefs spend years learning to make them. She just asked him to remove their entire culture and replace it with ranch dressing from a bottle. He says very slowly, very quietly, "No, madame, we do not." Then he walks away. The woman turns to her husband. "Wow, the service here is terrible. Why is everyone so rude?" I want to lean over and explain. In France, you don't customize everything. You don't treat the chef like a short-order cook at a diner. You trust them. You eat what they make. But I don't say anything. I just sit there watching other French diners shake their heads.
Here's what I've realized after watching dozens of these moments. Americans don't think they're being loud. They genuinely don't hear themselves. Back home, everyone talks at the same volume, so it feels normal, natural, like breathing. But in most of Europe, the baseline volume is about 40% lower than what we consider normal conversation. What Americans think is just talking sounds like shouting to everyone else. And when Europeans ask us to be quieter, we think they're being uptight, cold, unfriendly. We never consider that maybe we're just loud. I'm in Prague, standing in the castle courtyard. A tour guide is explaining the history to a small group. This castle was built in the 9th century, she says. Construction began around 870 AD, making it over 1,100 years old. An American tourist interrupts her mid-sentence. "Wait, so this is like medieval?" The guide stops, smiles politely. "Yes, exactly. 870 AD places it firmly in the medieval period." The tourist's eyes go wide. He looks actually shocked. "That's crazy. In America, our oldest buildings are like maybe 200 years old. Most stuff is way newer. We're basically brand new." He says this like he just discovered something amazing, like being new is impressive. His voice is excited, proud even. The guide nods slowly. "Yes, America is quite young compared to most nations." But the tourist isn't done. "We're like the youngest country. That's so cool." He's practically bouncing, like he just won a prize. The guide's smile stays frozen. The other tourists, mostly Europeans, are trying not to laugh. A German man is looking at his shoes. A French woman is biting her lip. I'm standing there thinking, "My guy, that's not the flex you think it is. You just told a woman standing in an 1,100-year-old castle that your country is cool because it has no history. You're bragging about having nothing old in a place that's older than your entire nation by 800 years. But he doesn't see it. He's just smiling, looking around the ancient walls, completely unaware that he just made everyone uncomfortable. I'm at a café along the canals in Amsterdam. Everything is peaceful, quiet. You can hear bicycle bells from 3 blocks away. Then I see them. An American family walking down the sidewalk wearing matching shirts, bright red, white, and blue with the American flag printed huge across the front. Underneath in big letters, USA #1. All 4 of them, mom, dad, 2 kids, matching, walking down a street in Amsterdam like they're in a parade. A Dutch woman at the table next to me leans over, genuinely confused. "Excuse me, are they going to a sporting event?" I look at the family again. They're just walking, shopping, looking in windows, being tourists. "No," I tell her. "I think that's just what they're wearing today." Her eyebrows go up. "But why are they wearing flags?" I don't know how to explain this. I don't think they even notice they're wearing them anymore. It's just become normal, like wearing jeans. She stares at them as they pass. "But why doesn't anyone else wear their country's flag?" You don't see Dutch people walking around in orange flag shirts every day. And I want to tell her, because you already live here, you're already home. You don't need to announce it. But Americans are different. They carry America with them everywhere. They wear it, wave it, bring it up in every conversation. Not because they think other countries are bad, but because they genuinely can't imagine not thinking about America for even 5 minutes. Later that day, I hear the dad from the flag family talking to a vendor. You know what's weird? Nobody else here wears their flag. Like, are people not proud of their country or something? I almost say it out loud. David, they live in their country. They're surrounded by their country. They don't need to wear it.
I'm in a pub in Edinburgh. Dark wood, low ceilings, everyone talking in low voices. Then this American guy, maybe 3 or 4 pints in, starts getting loud at the bar. You know what's great about America? His voice getting louder with every word. Freedom, like real freedom, actual freedom. The bartender doesn't look up, just keeps drying glasses. Aye, we've got that here too. The American looks genuinely surprised. Wait, really? I thought you guys had like kings and queens and stuff. Don't they tell you what to do? There's a pause. The whole pub has gotten quieter. People are listening now. The Scottish bartender looks up, dead serious, deadpan. Aye, the king tells us what to say every morning at breakfast. It's in the Constitution. We all have to gather around the telly at 8 a.m. and he gives us our opinions for the day. The American nods, actually nods, like this makes perfect sense. Wow, that's crazy. I had no idea. Someone in the corner chokes on their beer. Another person coughs loudly to cover a laugh. The bartender just goes back to drying glasses, the tiniest smile at the corner of his mouth. 3 weeks ago, I'm in Naples, Italy, the birthplace of pizza. The place where pizza was literally invented over 100 years ago. I'm in this tiny pizzeria with checkered tablecloths and photos of old Naples covering the walls. The smell of wood-fired dough and tomatoes fills the air. An American tourist is standing at the counter talking to the chef, the actual chef, the owner, the man whose grandfather opened this place. The tourist is shaking his head, looking disappointed. I'm just saying, back home in New York, our pizza's way better, like way better. The crust is thicker, more cheese, more toppings. The chef stares at him. Every person in the restaurant has stopped eating, forks frozen in midair. Even the server by the door isn't moving. The chef says slowly in thick Italian accent, "Sir, this is Napoli. We invented pizza. This is where pizza comes from." The tourist waves his hand like he's brushing away a fly. Yeah, but you guys don't have stuffed crust. You don't have deep dish. You don't have meat lovers or extra cheese options. Back home, we have like 20 different kinds. Complete silence. The chef just looks at him for 5 long seconds. Then he turns around and walks into the kitchen. Doesn't say another word, just leaves. The tourist looks confused, turns to his wife. What's his problem? I'm sitting there thinking, did I just watch someone walk into Florence and tell Michelangelo their stick figures are better? Did this man really just explain pizza to an Italian chef in Italy? And the craziest part, he had no idea he'd done anything wrong. None. He thought he was just having a normal conversation, sharing information, being friendly. Here's what I've learned. Americans are taught from birth that every opinion is equally valid, that confidence equals correctness, that speaking up is good even if you don't know what you're talking about. We genuinely believe that our 3-week trip somewhere makes us qualified to critique centuries of tradition. We think we're being helpful by pointing out improvements, offering suggestions, sharing what works better back home. But to everyone else, we sound like toddlers trying to teach Einstein about physics. The difference is, in Europe, expertise is respected, history is respected, tradition is respected. If someone has been making pizza for 40 years in the place where pizza was invented, you shut up and eat it. You don't explain to them how Pizza Hut does it better. But Americans, we can't help ourselves. We see something different and immediately think, that's wrong. Let me fix it.
Last month, I took a weekend trip to the Swiss Alps. I needed quiet, the kind you can only find in mountains. Perfect Saturday morning. Sky so blue it hurts. Air thin and cold, smelling like pine and snow. I'm walking up this trail people have been using for hundreds of years. Around me, mountains rise like giant walls. In the distance, cowbells clanging softly across the valley. Everything is peaceful, silent, sacred almost. And then I hear it. USA! 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 At first, I think I'm imagining it, but no, it gets louder. USA! 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 3 American guys come around the bend, young, maybe college age, backwards baseball caps, tank tops, even though it's cold. They're chanting, actually chanting, on a mountain in Switzerland. Their voices bounce off rock walls, echoing across the entire valley. A Swiss hiker coming down stops dead in his tracks, proper hiking boots, serious jacket, carrying poles. He looks at the 3 guys, then at me, his face asking a question he doesn't want to say out loud. Are they okay? He finally asks, quiet, concerned, like he thinks maybe they're having a medical emergency. Yeah, I tell him, they're fine, they're just very American. He nods slowly, still confused, and continues down. The 3 guys pass me, still chanting, completely unaware they just confused a Swiss man in his own country on his own mountain. The Swiss hiker stops one more time, looks back. Do they do this everywhere? Everywhere. Even in America? Especially in America. He looks genuinely puzzled. But who are they chanting for? They're already in America. I don't know how to explain that it doesn't matter. Americans chant USA because it's just what you do, like saying bless you when someone sneezes. It's automatic, programmed in. He adjusts his poles. Your people are very loud. Not mean, just observational, like a scientist taking notes. I know, trust me, I know. 2 weeks after the mountain incident, I'm back in Berlin telling this story to my original coworker, the one who called me very American 3 years ago. She's laughing so hard she's crying. Did the Swiss man think they were lost? No, he thought they were dying. She loses it again. Then she says something that makes everything make sense. You know what the difference is between American tourists and everyone else? She leans forward. American tourists think they're the main character everywhere they go. The rest of us know we're just visiting someone else's story. And that's it. That's the whole thing. Remember that woman in Lyon, the one who wanted ranch dressing? I saw her Instagram 3 days later. France was beautiful, but the food was weird and the service was really rude. Can't wait to get home to some normal food. She went to France, the country that invented modern cooking, and decided they were doing food wrong. That's not confidence. That's not patriotism. That's walking into someone else's house and immediately rearranging their furniture because you think your way is better. Just last week, I'm in a cafe in Amsterdam. I overhear an American woman telling a Dutch person that wooden shoes seem impractical. In Amsterdam, to a Dutch person about wooden shoes. The Dutch guy smiles politely. We don't actually wear them anymore. They're decorative, for tourists. She looks relieved. Oh good, because I was going to say, you guys should really try sneakers. They're way more comfortable. I almost spit out my coffee. The Dutch guy catches my eye across the cafe. We share a look, a moment of understanding. I can see him thinking the exact same thing my German coworker thought 3 years ago. Very American. Here's the honest truth. I don't think this is going to stop anytime soon, because Americans genuinely think they're helping. They think they're being friendly, enthusiastic, sharing information. They never realize they're the only ones talking. And everyone else is just waiting for them to leave so they can finally have a quiet cup of coffee. My German coworker was right 3 years ago. Being very American abroad means too loud when everyone else is quiet, too confident about things you don't understand, too quick to compare everything to home, too certain that your way is the right way, too unaware that you're doing any of this. It means you're so convinced you're right that you don't realize you're the only one talking, and everyone else is just waiting for you to leave. I'm still American. I'll always be American. But now I know what that means to the rest of the world. I know that my normal volume is their shouting. I know that my friendly confidence is their arrogant ignorance. I know that my helpful suggestions are their unwanted lectures. I've learned to lower my voice in public spaces, ask questions before making statements, listen more than I talk, trust local expertise over my own assumptions, experience places without constantly comparing them. And you know what? People are friendlier now. Conversations go better. I embarrass myself less. Not because I stopped being American, but because I started being aware that I was being American. If you're American and you're planning to travel abroad, or hell, even if you just want to be more self-aware at home, here's my challenge. Before you speak, ask yourself, 1. Am I talking louder than everyone else around me? 2. Am I about to compare this to how we do it back home? 3. Am I about to offer advice to someone who knows way more than me? And 4. Am I treating this like I'm the main character? If the answer to any of these is yes, just pause, take a breath, listen instead. You don't have to stop being proud of America. You don't have to pretend you're from somewhere else. You just have to remember you're not the main character. You're visiting someone else's story. My German coworker was trying to save me 3 years ago when she whispered, "You're very American." She wasn't insulting me, she was giving me the gift of awareness. Because the alternative, walking through the world completely oblivious to how you're being perceived, is so much worse. So yeah, I'm very American. I always will be. But at least now I know what that means, and I'm trying to do better. Drop a comment. Have you ever been called too American abroad? Or have you witnessed peak American behavior overseas? Share your stories. Subscribe to The Social Glitch for more uncomfortable truths about how we actually come across to the rest of the world. Because sometimes the biggest glitch is thinking everyone else is the problem, when maybe, just maybe, we should look in the mirror first. Thanks for watching. Now go be a little less American. In a good way.